Lewis and Evan said, "We are hungry." Eileen thought, "Children, how on earth did this happen?" So, I was definitely working part-time at a large supermarket. In front of the 100 won cup ramen display, I noticed that old grumpy person. She's speaking informally. "I want to get out of here. What is happening? Is it hypotension?" The next moment, she thought, "Where am I? Who is she? She looks like someone from the Middle Ages. Is she a maid? But she's holding the same thing I picked up, a small cup of ramen. Is this a dream?" Lately, it's been hard trying to find a job while working part-time. If it's a dream, I guess I can just wait to wake up. But why am I hungry? Let's fill our bellies first. Where is the kitchen? And now, who are they? It's so messy. Even though it's a dream, I feel bad for them. Then she asked, "Do you want to eat this?" Lewis replied, "Yes." Evan said, "No, you've been beaten before, so why don't you come to your senses?" Eileen told him, "I didn't put any poison or anything in it. Now look, just roll it up so it's easy to eat, just like that. It's very delicious. Come on, try it." "That's right, it's hot, so eat carefully." Lewis spoke up, "It's delicious, spicy but very delicious." Eileen said, "Let's eat together, it's really okay. Just take a bite and talk about it." "That's right, it tastes bad if you blow on it." Evan also said it was delicious. After eating, Eileen thought, "I need to at least save the soup for myself." After that, both of them were full. Eileen thought, "They're soft and cute." Then she said, "If you lie down on the floor right after eating, you won't be able to digest it. Let's get up." Lewis replied, "But you said the floor suits us, right? You even threw food on the floor like that. But what's going on? You don't usually console us even when we need it." Eileen felt memories and information pouring into her head like a tsunami. Prayer of Healing. The female lead named Elsius awakens as a saint. It was a novel where the female lead heals all kinds of men. The name of the character in that novel is Eileen Harlan, the nanny of the twin princes born to a concubine who was once a maid. She was the mastermind who abused abandoned children and turned them into villains. Indeed, these abandoned twins are the crown princes. In this empire, the first emperor gained a dragon as his companion, granting special powers to descendants who inherited that blood, excellent physical abilities, a special energy surpassing human limits, and occasionally, precognitive abilities. With those abilities, the twins awakened magic at the age of 8. At the beginning of the original story, they kill Eileen and escape. Eileen asked, "How old are you?" Both of them replied, "We are 7 years old." Eileen thought, at age 8, they kill Eileen. In that cursed novel, it's not the female lead, but me. Am I surrounded by handsome men? Don't tell me I've reincarnated as the nanny who will be killed by these children. Even after reincarnation, I couldn't even have a slight romantic connection with a handsome guy before dying. I don't want to die. The female lead is dating various handsome guys, but I am just a maid. Even when the original begins, I am destined to be torn to death by the hands of children. After that, she said, "I have changed the blanket for you." Lewis was so happy about the clean blanket. Eileen thought, Eileen's room would be better than here. What about their parents? The mother died, and the emperor neglected the children. Lewis asked, "Why are you being so nice to us today?" Eileen thought, "What did I do? All I did was feed them cup ramen and brush their teeth." Then she said, "From now on, I will continue to be good to you." Lewis replied, "Really? Then I hope tomorrow comes quickly." Eileen thought, "My heart ached when I saw the child's silent expression. I don't want to die. If I just go back to my normal life, will these children be abused again?" The next moment, Eileen thought, "This is a supermarket. Could it be that I came back, but I'm still Eileen? Then what is this place? Is it a ball? Just wait a minute, I got you. Who are you? Since it's a dream, is it a dog? Wow, it's chocolate. The kids will love it if I bring it to them." In the next scene, Eileen woke up and thought, "It's still the prince's room. Where have the kids gone? I have no choice but to admit that I was possessed by the novel. Why is this here? It's real chocolate. Did I bring something from the supermarket through dreams? Does this even make sense?" Of course, reincarnation into a novel makes no sense. Supermarket and novel reincarnation too. Maybe there are clues in the dream. She heard the voices of children. What is happening? Meanwhile, the maids said, "You need to jump higher, or are you hungry? Why don't you give it a try? I think it would suit you well, Louis asked. Are you really going to give it to us? Then Evan told him, really, don't do that. The maid spoke, since Evan is so stiff, it seems to be a problem, don't be like that. You can learn from Louis, come on, hurry up, Louis stated, don't even think about it, don't touch Louis. The maid shouted, are you crazy? The next moment, that maid was hit by something and asked, who is there? Eileen replied, it is me. The maid said, we are surprised, and thought without warning, the inspector was here. Eileen asked, what are you doing now? The other maid replied, oh, we're playing with the princes. Eileen asked, you said you played with them. The maids replied, the princes are begging us to play with them. Eileen asked, is it true that you were playing with the maids? Evan replied, you said you wouldn't believe us anyway. Suddenly, Eileen slapped both the maids. Dempsey said, you are fired from now on. You know that no matter how neglected the royal family is, they're the royal family. Insulting the royal family is high treason. If word gets out, you'll just have your head cut off. You won't die easily either, so leave now. After that, Eileen said, the maids were rude, as the maid who has to manage them. I apologize, she thought. Children need a guardian. Even if I leave the palace, it is obvious that the same situation will repeat itself. In that case, it would be better to make Eileen different. If I, as a guardian, raise them without being crooked, there shouldn't be a chance for the children to become villains. Then she asked, will you give me a chance to be forgiven? She thought, after that, I would meet a really handsome man, eat, and live well. On the other hand, at Reuben's palace, the secretary asked, does it not suit your taste? The Duke replied, bring me the alubi fruit. The secretary replied, but, then the Duke said, all right, it doesn't taste like anything more. After that, the secretary asked, Your Highness, I will prepare too, let's go together. The Duke replied, no, I will go alone, going to that tower is enough for me alone. In the next scene, Eileen thought, it has been a month since I became Eileen. I am currently 100% adjusted to the life of a nanny, so, my daily routine was to wake up early and prepare breakfast, watch the children play, and clean the dirty palace. It is lunchtime again, and I am preparing a meal. After giving them snacks, I cleaned the dirty palace again. After preparing dinner, I put the kids to bed. Housewives are truly great creatures. After that, she thought this is Eileen's room. It's gorgeous every time I see it. Eileen, you put the royal support money to good use, but what I came for was not jewels. Here we go. Necessities for a possessed person. Cleaning products from another world. Who knew it would be real life? Every night when I dream, I wake up in the middle of the supermarket with no one around. I've also become quite familiar with the white furball named Hyanagi. So far, I've found that I can only carry one item at a time, and only items small enough to hold in my hand are allowed. Items from this world cannot be taken to the supermarket. Emma came and told her, I finished washing the east hallway windows. These cleaning tools that Eileen gave me are very convenient. Eileen told her, great job. Let's clean the floor together. Then thought, when I threw out the maids and brought her in from the palace's personality department, she looked pale, but now her expression is bright. After that, Eileen asked, did you have fun? Louis replied, yes, I played by climbing a tree. I will pick some apples for Eileen later. I'm going to practice climbing trees some more. Eileen thought, he just came here to show off. It was said that jewel-like blonde hair was a symbol of the Richards royal family. How can such a cute child become such a villain? Every time something like this happens, I feel resentful of Eileen. Evan came, and Eileen asked, how long have you been here? Then she thought, what is this? Putting vegetables under the fried egg for breakfast, Emma said. I think Evan is a bit difficult. Eileen replied, it's because he's shy. He was originally a kind person, Eileen thought. A child could have grown up brighter if Eileen had not abused him. In the novel, the twins who killed Eileen escaped and headed to a private house. The house they went to hide in was the female lead's house. The real story began when Kashar appeared. He was the former crown prince, dethroned due to madness, a mad dog of the empire who was given a title for his contributions in war. It was the female lead who saved Kashar. The twins and Kashar decided to take Elsius, the female lead, away from the temple. They confronted the temple to get her back. This was the conflict of the novel. In the next scene, Eileen said, "For today, I will make soup in the earthen pot that I brought from the supermarket." Suddenly, she shouted, "You are a thief. Did he break in through the back door? What is that light?" Blonde, overly harmonious facial features. He's handsome. Oh my God. This is the first time seeing a man like a beautiful work of art. If he looks like that, he definitely won't be an extra. As far as I know, the only blondes in the Richard Empire are the royal family, among the male lead and sub-lead characters. Kashar is my favorite, a handsome guy with blonde hair, red eyes, and arrogance. He was Duke Kashar. In the original novel, the Duke suffered from a disease called mania. The basis of mania is indiscriminate slaughter and destruction. The Emperor does not know that the cause of mania is a curse. To quell his madness, he eats a poisonous fruit called alubi, but this fruit has side effects, including severe headaches and vomiting black blood. Eileen thought, "I hit a patient with a headache with a pot. Why did you even come here? He is going to die. He is the man who killed a large army. There is no way I'll be saved if he wakes up. Let's just throw him away." After some time, Eileen thought, he might think he has been attacked. I hope the Duke gets amnesia. The sun was already rising. That tower. It had the imperial family emblem. The tower where the Duke's mother was imprisoned. The Emperor imprisoned the Empress because she gave birth to a maniacal son. Every time the Empress wakes up, the Duke visits the tower where she was imprisoned, which is also close to here. So that's why the Duke is here, because today is his mother's death anniversary. In the next moment, Eileen was on the ground. The Duke asked, "Who are you?" Eileen thought, when did he wake up? Is he the same person? I'm scared. Then she asked, "Have you lost your memory? I didn't mean to throw you away on purpose. I thought you were a thief." The Duke said, "Open your eyes." Eileen said, "Save me," then thought, "I look as pitiful as possible." The Duke continued, "You said you struck the thief's head with your own hand. Not only that, but you were going to throw him away. There are various ways to destroy evidence." Eileen thought, "Oh, he figured it out." The Duke stated, "You are dead." In the next moment, Eileen pleaded, "Please don't kill me. I have princes I need to save, the Duke's younger brothers." The Duke asked, "Are you a maid?" Eileen replied, "Yes, I'm totally a maid," then thought, "I'm done for. Disputes between royal family members tend to be a nuisance. No. I can live." The Duke said, "Really? Then I need to talk to the person you serve. Lead the way." Eileen replied, "Yes, I will take you there." After some time, the Duke asked, "By the way, what did you hit me with?" Eileen replied, "That one." The Duke said, "A bowl." Eileen thought, "I brought him here, but what should I do? Surely he didn't come to kill both the children. It's suspicious that the mad dog of the Empire is quietly following me. If I hit him one more time, he might actually suffer amnesia." Both children arrived and asked, "What are you doing?" Louis asked, "Who is this brother?" "I get it, brother. You're Eileen's lover." Eileen thought, "It's really ruined." Louis told the Duke, "No, Eileen is ours." "Could he be a villain who came to harass us?" Eileen replied, "Yes." Louis said, "We won't leave the villain alone." Eileen thought, "Oh my God, if this continues, we might end up in real trouble. If the Duke wants to, he could kill everyone and cover up the incident. No one will care about the death of abandoned princes." In the next moment, Eileen said, "That's right, he is my lover." The Duke thought, "What is this?" Eileen told him, "Sweetheart, relax your expression a bit. The princes misunderstand." Louis asked, "Are you really Eileen's lover?" Eileen replied, "Yes, now give it to me. What should I do if he comes and wants to see me too?" "That's enough for today." The Duke asked, "Are you going to make me look like this and send me back?" Eileen replied, "No way. I mean, we should go inside. I'm preparing breakfast. Please eat it." Then she thought, "I can't die yet." After that, Eileen thought, having the twins and the Duke sitting together at the table is like a comedy show in itself. Then she said, "I will prepare breakfast, so could you set the table instead of?" Then she whispered, "Make sure not to leave the princes and the Duke alone, just in case something happens." The Duke stated, "Everyone can hear you, so make sure to whisper quietly enough. it's better to prepare quickly. Let's see how impressive the breakfast will be. In the kitchen, Eileen thought, if only his memory had been lost, things might have been better. I think I know why couples beat the fish after a marital dispute. Let's move the Duke's share to a separate pot. Eating something delicious might calm his anger. Let's give it a try. On the other hand, Louis asked, but what's wrong with your head? The Duke replied, someone tried to knock me out and dispose of me. Louis asked, was it Eileen who hit you? The Duke replied, I got hit. Suddenly, Eileen came in and said, when did I ever do such a thing, sweetheart? The Duke asked, is the back of my head still sore? Eileen replied, it's because you haven't eaten anything. They say breakfast is the best medicine. Have your meal. Louis said, wow, another new dish, and Evan said, thank you for this food. The Duke asked, what is this? Eileen replied, it's a dish from my hometown. It's a soup made from dried fish, something similar. Here, try eating the soup before it gets cold. Eileen thought, there was a scene in the novel where he ate seafood. I thought he might like fish. Doesn't it suit his taste? The Duke said, not bad. Eileen asked, really, how much? The Duke replied, enough to cure the headache you gave me. Eileen thought, it's so delicious it could save your life. All right, try it like this. Very good. The Duke asked, how long has it been since we met? Eileen thought, is the Duke agreeing to fit into my act? If he's not acting, he might just start a fight with the pot right away. Eileen replied, about a year. No, it's been 3 years. Then she thought, why is the conversation suddenly going in this direction? I feel like something is going wrong. The Duke said, I want to have a more serious relationship with you. Eileen thought, did you hit your head and go crazy? I'm watching like a morning drama fan. The Duke continued, it's quite a sudden conversation. It's like I'm blaming you for hitting me. Eileen asked, are you leaving? Then she thought, yes, people can go crazy for a moment when they hit their heads. Seeing him about to leave, it seems he has come back to his senses. Still, it was nice to see a handsome guy. No, the sub-handsome. The Duke said, you did well with the meal, so you should give thanks. Please wait patiently. It won't be fun if you run away. Eileen thought. A sweet yet stern voice echoed in my ears. In the next scene, Mikhail thought, has he gone crazy? Wait a minute, given that he was originally eccentric, it wouldn't be strange if he went crazy at any time. At the age of 15, the Duke awakened the royal family's abilities on the battlefield. Even scholars who had long studied the abilities of the royal family concluded that there was no such monstrous ability. Reading the master's mind is almost impossible. Then and now, what could have happened during the anniversary of his mother's death? The Duke said, sweetheart. Mikhail thought, surely he wouldn't say that to me, right? The Duke stated, I found an interesting moment. Mikhail thought, well, I'm not a woman, so that's a relief. The Duke remembered at the time, what is this smell? It's been ages since I smelled something delicious. I was just lured by the scent, then I got hit on the back of the head. How dare she throw me away, I, who has never even been hit on the battlefield, crazy woman, when she said, sweetheart, I should have killed her. But that smell, it's savory and tangy. I can't believe it tastes good. My pain is fading away. My body feels sluggish, and I even feel like forgiving anything. Did she say it was dried fish soup? Alubi fruits may prevent madness, but they're close to poison. But what if I could relieve the poison? Would I even regain my sense of taste, smell, and perhaps even my fading sense of touch? He asked, are there any royals living near the tower? Mikhail replied, yes, I know that the abandoned princes are residing in the cold palace. The Duke said, find out about their nanny. I am indebted to her. I hope I can reciprocate. In the next scene, different couriers and others arrived and said, lady, good morning. Today we have a bracelet made of diamonds, a hair ornament made of high-purity rubies, 100 points for shoes, 70 points for dresses, and a box filled with gold coins. Eileen asked, who sent all of this? The three of them replied, of course, it's Duke Kashar. Eileen thought, what on earth is going on? When the Duke left, I thought he was going to forget about me by the next day. Instead of a dagger, the cold palace was filled with extravagant gifts. At first, I tried to send them back, but the Duke sent me a letter in which he wrote, if you don't want to die, you should accept them nicely. Eileen thought, is this a new form of torment? For 3 days straight, gifts have been pouring in. It might be a foundation for forced compensation. If he asks for them back later, I'll have to return them all. Lewis said, wow, there are so many people today too. One person said, nice to meet you, Prince. I am Viscount. Today there are gifts for the princes too, Lewis said. These are all mine. Eileen said, just a moment, I'll give you something better, so please put that down. Lewis asked, can't I play with them? Eileen replied, I'll bring something even better tomorrow morning. Lewis said, I want this one. I listened well and even ate the eggplants that Evan dislikes. Eileen thought, wow. Then she said, but it's just this one. She asked, how much is that? The Viscount replied, well, it's 95 silver. Eileen thought, it's so damn expensive. I should sell the jewels I've collected, as long as it's not something sent by the Duke. Evan said, look at me. Eileen thought, it's the first time Evan has spoken to me first. Evan asked, why are you doing this? Is there a problem with the Duke? Eileen asked, how did you know the person who visited that day was the Duke? Evan replied, Emma kept blabbering about it. Besides, the only royal family member with red eyes is the Duke. Eileen said, don't worry too much, he won't even touch a fingertip of the prince's. Evan said, I'm not talking about that. You seem a bit strange. Eileen asked, are you worrying about me right now? Evan asked, what are you doing? Eileen said, I'm just so happy that you're worried about me. Thank you, really. After that, Evan asked, what about the Duke? It doesn't seem like you're really dating. Eileen replied, actually, we're not dating. The Duke said, not dating. Are you not so scared when you see your lover? Eileen thought, what is going on here? The Duke stated, I came to ask you out on a date. Eileen thought, he's scary and handsome too. Then she said, what does that mean? The Duke asked, sweetheart, why don't you call me sweetheart? Eileen thought, what did I just hear? Evan spoke, assistant, let's just talk. The Duke said, kid, don't interfere in this matter, we're going to have an adult conversation. Evan asked, an adult? The Duke replied, didn't you hear? The fact is that Eileen and I are lovers, and we've been dating for a long time. Eileen thought, what on earth is he saying in front of the kid? After some time, Eileen thought, he's looking through, isn't he? It's clear that he's thinking about where to start talking. I'm sorry, princes, I guess I'm done with this. The Duke asked, why aren't you wearing anything from the gifts? Eileen replied, because they're not for me. The Duke asked, why not? It was a reward for breakfast. I said I would reciprocate. Eileen asked, was that real? The Duke said, did you think I was kidding? Eileen replied, no, just saving my life is enough. The Duke told her, that's different. A reward for breakfast is a gift, and compensation for an accident is separate. Eileen thought, what kind of nonsense is that? Then she said, anyway, I didn't receive anything. The Duke continued, is that really the case? I saw one of your princes surrounded by toys earlier. Eileen thought, I should have hidden them all. The Duke said, don't worry, I won't ask you to pay it back, but won't you prepare a meal for me today? Eileen asked, anyway, it's not going to save me, is it? The Duke replied, what if it does? Eileen said, I can even offer an 18-layer meal. The Duke stated, I love the food you make, but I guess I'll have to grant you a different request. I've taken an interest in you. First, let's start with a date. Eileen thought, making lies sound so exciting makes you feel guilty. In the next scene, Eileen thought, wow, there's nothing missing in the cafes, shops, or restaurants, and everyone is so glamorous and cool. Are there really so many rich people in this world? Suddenly, she stumbled, and the Duke caught her, saying, you should be careful. Eileen thought, I can feel it, the handsome man just. The Duke told her, it's dangerous here, so hold my hand, and let's go. Eileen replied, it's okay. Everyone will stare if we. The Duke said, it's okay, don't be shy. Eileen thought, his hands, they're so big. Nobles started chatting, who is that young lady? She seems to be a maid rather than a lady. The Duke has a lover, Eileen thought. People in the neighborhood are mistaken. He's a single man. This is embarrassing. After that, Eileen thought, this place looks exactly like a room cafe. Once you come in, you should order something. The Duke said, I want all the popular menu items here. Eileen thought, the cheapest water is 50 silver, why is it so expensive? Then she said, I'll just have a glass of water, please. After that, Eileen thought, this is so awkward, I'm going crazy. Is it because I'm scared to death, or because he's too handsome? Either way, it's embarrassing. The Duke told her, don't worry, I won't bite. Eileen replied, thank you. The Duke said, not yet, I told you, I'm interested in you. Why else would a man send gifts and ask for a date? Eileen replied, is it because my social status is low in the aristocratic hierarchy? The Duke asked, what do you mean by low status in the hierarchy? The waiter came and told them, these are all popular dishes of our cafe, and here is your order, have a pleasant time. Eileen said, the water looks really refreshing. The Duke told her, eat. Eileen replied, I don't have that much money. The Duke stated, you're joking around, I won't tell you to pay, so just eat. Eileen replied, okay then, I will enjoy it. After tasting it, Eileen thought, something is a bit ambiguous, isn't it? It's sweet, and it seems like expensive ingredients were used, but there's something missing in the taste. Is it because it hasn't been long since I've had sugar? It's even worse than if it were cake or chocolate pie. All right, tomorrow I'll give cakes to the princes. The Duke asked, is it really that bad? Eileen replied, no, it's delicious, then thought, what kind of person would say it's delicious even if given spoiled milk? Duke, you should try some too. Here, say all. The Duke started eating, and Eileen thought, he really is handsome. Then she reminded herself, wake up, there must be a reason why the Duke suddenly asked me out. It's too weird to ask for a date when he's already overflowing with good looks more than anyone else. I won't be swayed by handsome faces anymore. Eileen asked, be honest, you don't like me, do you? The Duke replied, as expected, you're not easily fooled by just a little kindness, that's why I like you. Eileen thought, it's because I know your original personality from the novel. The Duke continued, or maybe my acting wasn't good enough, I tried to put in more effort, but it seems it won't work. Eileen thought, in the original, he will inevitably fall for the heroine, I need to go quickly to feed the kids. Then she asked, if you want something, please tell me quickly. The Duke said, well, okay. I don't need anything more, I only need a lover. The Empress is forcing me into a marriage, and she's very keen on finding a woman who suits her taste. Eileen thought, if it's the Empress, could it be Empress Wayano, the final villainess in this novel? In the past, she made her 3 sons crown princes and sent the deposed Duke to his death on the battlefield. But the Duke returns as a Grand Duke, having achieved great victory. Placing a woman from the Empress's faction as the Grand Duchess is no different from having an official spy by your side. Then she asked, but why are you looking for that here? The Duke replied, you said you're my longtime lover. Eileen said, that's nonsense, then thought, no matter how handsome he is, this is a bit risky, if I catch the Empress's attention and something goes wrong with the twins. Eileen spoke, there are many other women besides me. The Duke stated, I like your food, and I find you amusing, it tastes awful, your food is much better. Next scene, Eileen thought, I'm losing my mind, why did I delay answering for a week and then blurted out, Mr. Kashar's lover? That's ridiculous, why'd I keep thinking in that direction, hopeless fool, as expected, I'll just reject it. After that, Eileen spoke, I am the maid in charge of the palace, what's the matter? The lady replied, we came to see the princes. Eileen said, you can tell me. The lady replied, okay, Lady Lamang has invited the princes to the Oloye party. Eileen thought, how could I forget about this? The Oloye party is a special event held once a year. Each family presents special drinks and delicacies made with secret recipes. In the original novel, the twins were also invited to this party, but Evan injured his leg from a decorative sword wielded by a drunken nobleman. To impress the Empress, who despised all imperial family members except the crown prince, the lady deliberately called the princes to the party, and covered up the incident as a fight between the twins. But it's strange, That incident happened when the princes were 8 years old in the spring. Why did it happen 10 months later? No way. Has the original novel changed because I met Duke Kashar? Then she thought, he lost a lot of blood. If I reject the lady's invitation, she will have to tell the Empress that their plan has gone awry. The Empress wants to get rid of the young princes, because she fears they will awaken special abilities. How many powerless royal family members has she brought down? I have to protect them. On the other hand, the Duke read the report. Eileen is the second daughter of a viscount. She entered the palace at the age of 12 with a strong desire for power. He thought, her ambition is evident. She seems to care for the princes. She aims to maintain the dignity of the royal family coming from the palace, and the princes genuinely follow her. Mikhail spoke, no matter how much I think about it, could this be the Empress's scheme? The Duke replied, shall I tell you something important? At that moment, I didn't even know she was affected by an illness. Eating her cooking can keep me sane for about a month without a lubi fruit. Mikhail asked, why not simply appoint her as a chef? Do you really want to make her your lover? Is it because of the Empress? The Duke said, that is enough. Then he thought, the food made by that maid brings back old memories. My mother, Empress Viviana, was called crazy by people when she was alive. She claimed to be someone else and often made unidentifiable food. She even acted terribly toward me, saying she had not given birth to a child. On my 3rd birthday, she made green soup. Then she said, I am sorry. After leaving just that one word, my mother never visited me again. Eileen, a strange woman who reminds me of my mother's food, can make a cure for madness. Rather than demanding something, she seems to want to escape from me. It can't be like that. I have to catch her slowly. I won't let her escape. Next scene, Eileen thought, today is the long-awaited payday. I wish every day were like today. Then she heard the maids chatting. Our young lady will soon become a Grand Duchess. They say Lemang has agreed to meet the Duke in the Rose Garden tomorrow. Eileen thought, tomorrow is the day the Duke is supposed to hear my answer. Did he set up a double appointment with 2 women? I was contemplating, but my decision is now firm. I will make sure to use it in reverse so he can't even think about escaping. Next day, at the Rose Garden, Jayana introduced herself. The Duke thought, the Viscount was a close ally of the Empress. I have no time to spend on the women sent by the Empress. Suddenly, Eileen came and said, sweetheart, how could you betray me like this? Then she hugged him. Everyone was shocked. Eileen continued, tell me, is our 3-year love affair ending here? Were all the sweet words you whispered to me lies? The Duke thought, these were all my gifts. Then he replied, calm down, that woman was just talking to me. Eileen said, I can't trust your words anymore. The Duke asked, how can I make you believe me? You are the only one for me. Do you believe me now? Eileen replied, yes, I believe you. Jayana thought, what the hell is going on? The Duke stated, I will serve you until you calm down. So forget about the woman who looked like a pumpkin earlier. Shall we leave now for the wealthy street where we agreed to meet? Eileen thought, mania, the disease that dethroned Kashar. To prevent the rampage of mania, the Emperor made an ancient vow with Duke Kashar. When your mania subsides, I shall release you. It is a vow not much different from a leash. He will die and disappear if the Emperor so commands. Even if the Duke's madness is cured, if the vow is not lifted, the Emperor will also die. The Duke spoke, your skills are outstanding. I am truly amazed. Eileen told him, I am very talented. The Duke said, not only in appearance but also in acting. Eileen thought, I was in the theater club in middle school, tree in the background. The Duke asked, so have you decided to accept and become my lover? Eileen replied, but I have a condition. I want you to be the guardian of Louis and Evan. Then she thought, I have to protect the children by myself. I need great power and strength to protect both of them. With the Duke as their guardian, no one will dare to touch them. The Duke said, is it because of the Empress? Eileen asked, how did you know that? The Duke replied, well, that woman wants to kill all the imperial family except for her first son. Fine, I will become the guardian of your princes, but I have one condition. You have to cook for me. Eileen asked, until when? The Duke replied, until I don't want it anymore. Eileen thought, did you like the buckwheat soup that much? It's a bit vague. but I'll just make something so tasteless that you can't stand it." Then she said, "Certainly, I will prepare a contract for our fake relationship." Mikhail arrived, and the Duke spoke, "Prepare a sealed agreement. When it is time to part, we shall part ways amicably." Eileen asked, "What are the conditions for breaking up?" The Duke replied, "If either of us finds someone we truly love." Eileen thought, in order to protect the princes, the Duke must not fall in love with the heroine. In the original story, after the heroine and the hero get together, the Duke started a continental war. What will happen to our princes then? I have to find a woman who is kind, wise, and beautiful like the heroine, but who has nothing to do with the Empress. Eileen asked, "Don't you want to add any more conditions?" The Duke replied, "I will keep the contract." After that, Eileen spoke, "I will be counting on you in the future." The Duke replied, "I will take care of you, my lover." On the other hand, the maid said, "Please spare me, your majesty." The Empress said, "What beast makes such a noise?" After the beating, the Empress said, "How dare you taunt me?" The Emperor came and asked, "What is going on? How can you force someone who is already courting another person?" The Empress asked, "What are you talking about?" The Emperor stated, "He came to me himself. Even if he did, he already has a prospective marriage partner." The Empress compelled him to participate in an arranged marriage meeting. Why would she do such a thing? After hearing all the details, the Empress thought, "Eileen, why is the Duke with that woman?" Viviana. The Emperor truly loved the beautiful Viviana with all his heart until she went mad. "I will seize this opportunity and make everything go according to my will," the Empress thought. "I attempted to kill the Duke using the forbidden book of spells and blame it all on Viviana, but the spell failed, and the Duke fell into madness. That is why it was fortunate that he became the deposed crown prince. But it unsettles me that her bloodline still lives on. How is that lunatic able to maintain his sanity? Perhaps there is something about that maid. Now that I think about it, the Marchioness mentioned inviting the abandoned princes to her upcoming ball. The Empress said, "Prepare some paper and a pen. I must see the detestable face of that maid in person." The next day, the Crown Prince said, "Mother, I rushed here upon hearing you were unwell." The Empress replied, "You can't fathom how much those false rumors have hurt me." The Crown Prince stated, "I don't believe in such rumors, so don't worry. It is clear that the wicked Duke intends to tarnish Mother's honor by spreading lies." The Empress replied, "This mother only has you as her son." Then she asked, "Why have you come?" The seventh prince, Michael, replied, "Me too. I am worried about my mother." The Empress said, "Stop talking nonsense and help the Crown Prince, Valentine." Then she thought, "If I had not given birth to that child, I would look 10 years younger. The Emperor avoids me because that child has stolen all my beauty. You are not worthy of being a prince." The Empress spoke, "Valentine, share a cup of tea with your mother." Michael said, "I." The Empress stated, "Useless." A week later, at the cold palace, the maid asked, "What are you doing?" Eileen replied, "I can't wait to see it. There we go." After that, the Duke spoke, "I am so glad to see you." Eileen replied, "Yes, I have missed you so much." The Duke thought, "Not that easy." Eileen also thought, "He is really." The Duke asked, "If you wanted to embrace me, you should have just said so." Eileen thought, "I am still getting used to being in contact with a handsome man. Enjoy it, Eileen. Enjoy it. When will I ever again have the chance to be embraced by a handsome man?" Then she said, "Could you let go? People are watching." The Duke replied, "There is no need to be shy. We are lovers." After all, Eileen thought, "He is more charming than what I've read in novels." Then she read the paper with the Emperor's approval seal. "That's it," she thought. "The prince whose reins have been loosened bids you farewell." She said, "Thank you so much. It must have been difficult to grant this request." The Duke replied, "If you liked it, I hope you would consider fulfilling my internal request as well." Eileen said, "Yes, I will do anything for you." The Duke spoke, "Great. Now we can all live together in the castle." Eileen replied, "About that, great, I see." The next moment, she asked, "What did you say?" The Duke said, "It was so heartbreaking to see you living with the princes in this cold palace. Please bring the children and stay in my palace." The other ladies thought, they're living together, let's spread the news quickly. The Duke told her, there they go. Eileen thought, calm down, it is probably just a joke, I can't make rational judgments when I see that face and body. The Duke said, I am serious. It is probably a good suggestion for you too. The princes will be safer in my castle than in the palace. Eileen thought, he is right. The influence of the Empress is dominant in the palace. If we leave this palace and change our residence, the princes will be much safer. But the twins don't even know they have a guardian yet. Can they accept the sudden events, especially Evan? He seems strange and avoids me since meeting the Duke. Then the Duke said, you think too much, it would have been better if you got married. Eileen thought, what are you saying? She said, okay, I will try to persuade the princes. Instead, come with me to the masquerade party. Then she thought, if we have to go anywhere, it is better to go this time. I can refuse the invitation while hiding behind the Duke's back. But if that happens, it will be difficult for the princes to cross the threshold of society until they become adults, so let's announce at this party that he has become the guardian of the children. The Duke asked, is this a date proposal? Eileen replied, no, yes, actually, it is a date proposal. The next moment, they were very close, and they were trying to kiss. The Duke said, okay, I will give you time, but you have to repay me for waiting. Eileen thought, I think you are going to kiss me. The Duke said, you look like you've never done this before. Eileen replied, I have. Lots of times, she thought, I learned about it from romance novels. The Duke told her, then look forward to it. Eileen thought, who are you making fun of? You are so charming, you are not like this in the original. After that Eileen asked, you've been invited to a party held in another palace, what do you think? Louis replied, really? Can Evan and I go to a place like that too? Eileen thought, you must have been that excited in the original too. I don't even know what will happen there, but this time it will be different. Then she asked, do you like it here? Louis replied, yes, this is where my mother and I used to live. Eileen asked, do you remember your mother? Louis replied, of course, come here. This is a secret. Then he said, look at this, it is the grape juice that our mother used to make for us. I can't drink it anymore, but Evan and I have always treasured it. Remember these words. My mother always told me to live brightly. She said that love would come back someday. My mother was right. Eileen, in the end, came to love me. I'm glad I did not give up. Eileen thought, why did I think they would hate this place? At least for the children, it is a house with memories of their deceased mother. Evan came and said, mother was wrong. Louis asked, what do you mean by that? Evan replied, exactly what it means. No matter how hard you try, it won't change. Eileen, you are trying to leave us to someone else. Get out of our room. Eileen thought, could he have heard about the guardian discussion? Does he misunderstand that I am abandoning them to the Duke? Louis asked, yes, to whom? Evan said, if you're not going, we will leave. Eileen replied, I will go out. Where are you going in the middle of the night? Have a good dream. After that, Eileen thought, I didn't know Evan would get hurt. I thought it would be okay to persuade him about the guardian and moving. I didn't expect this misunderstanding. But seeing that they even sent me a share of the invitation, it's clear the Empress has made up her mind. Indeed, the Duke is necessary to protect the princes. But I will keep thinking about Evan's words. His gaze was cold. Did I act too hastily? I thought we were getting a little closer. Then, in her dream, Eileen said, hello, Haeyoungi. Wow, I feel better. Is this pet therapy? Since we've decided to go to the party for now, let's start by preparing what to auction. The highlight of the Ologe party is the charity auction. The proceeds from the auction are donated to the temple in the names of the nobles. The item with the highest bid becomes the luxury item of the year. In the original story, Eileen auctioned off Rosalie's wine, which was sold for a pittance and scattered on the ground in front of children. That's not acceptable. They can't hurt our princes anymore. What would be good? Suddenly, she asked, where are you going? Let's go together. Then she thought, this is it. Why didn't I think of this before? Our cute puppy. Uppy. How could you think of bringing me here? All right. Then let's settle this as the auction item. Okay. Goodbye. See you tomorrow. After that, a person came and said, come here. The day of the Ologe party, both the princes and Eileen arrived. Eileen thought, the hostess of the party is the Marchioness, but the venue is the Empress's banquet hall. It feels like being preyed upon. You can really feel this is the Empress's territory. Louis asked, how'd I look, am I pretty? Eileen replied, of course, you look very lovely. Louis said, you are pretty too. You look like a princess. I'm so excited. It's been a long time since I've been in a place like this. Evan asked Louis, who do you think sent us these clothes? Eileen said, it was the person who gave you the toy back then. Louis said, you mean Eileen's lover. The Duke came and stated, you look beautiful today. Eileen thought, wow, even in a suit, he's still handsome, but why does my heart act like this whenever I see a handsome man? Louis asked, are you going with this guy too? Eileen replied, yes, sorry for not telling you in advance. Louis said, you need a partner for the party. If I were older, I could have escorted you. The Duke spoke, kids don't worry about those things. Louis replied, I am not a kid. Yes, I'm a kid now, but next, I'll be an adult, and then, I'm going to marry Eileen. Eileen thought, why did the conversation suddenly shift like that? The Duke stated, kid, looks like you don't know much. Marriage is between lovers, not caretakers and children who need care. Louis replied, it's okay because I'm going to get married to someone else anyway. Adults say dating and marriage are different. That's the rule of the empire. Eileen thought, where did Louis hear such things? The Duke said, even immature males can say such cheeky things. It's amazing, kid, but that's fake love. True love is staying together till the end. Eileen thought, what are you doing? The Duke asked, Eileen, am I right? Then he thought, hurry, say yes. Eileen replied, yes, the trend is true love. Then she thought, if I say no, he might kill me. Evan spoke, lie. Eileen thought, Evan knows this romance is fake and that the Duke has become their protector. I should have told them everything, but to convince Evan, I need to tell him that I know the future. The Duke said, you will understand eventually. Shall we go, sweetheart? Eileen thought, come to your senses. In the original, this person started a continental war because of the female protagonist. He also ended up killing kids, to protect the princes and end this fake lover role. I need to find the Duke a new love quickly. After that, the nobles whispered, wow, the rumors were true. Twin princes, is that woman the Duke's lover? They say she's the twins' nanny. They're abandoned princes. They're probably trying to get something out of the Duke. Eileen thought, I wish I could plug the kids' ears. The Duke asked, should I kill them? Eileen said, what do you mean? The Duke told her, over there, behind the pillar, that lady who looks like a hippo, next to that piggy man. Those beasts who dare to speak ill of my lover will pay the price. Eileen asked, you're just kidding, right? The Duke replied, no way, can there be lies between lovers? Eileen told him, I faint when I see blood. The Duke replied, I can kill them without being seen. Eileen said, please don't kill them anywhere. Louis asked, can we go over there and play? Eileen thought, there are quite a few kids who came with their parents. The twins really need peers as friends. Then she said, please take this. Both of them asked, what is this? Eileen replied, snacks for you two to enjoy. After that, the Empress arrived. The Countess received the Empress, and then the Empress whispered something, and both of them smiled at her. Eileen thought, did they just smile at me just now, didn't they? The Countess came and said, you are the most talked about person these days. How did the Duke come here? The Duke replied, I couldn't leave my delicate lover alone in such a rough place. I purchased an invitation from the Viscount. When I asked him if he wanted a sword or gold, he asked for the latter. Eileen thought, well, the Countess would not have invited the Duke, so that's how he came. The Countess asked, lady, have you brought anything valuable for the auction? This ology auction is not just a place to showcase precious items. Eileen replied, of course, I have brought the auction items entrusted to the inspector. The auction item I am going to present is a very special drink. The nobles whispered, what is that? It doesn't seem like wine or whiskey. Eileen told them, this alcohol is makgeolli, a traditional drink from a country surrounded by the sea. It is a special drink made from fermented grains. The nobles asked, How do we know if it's alcohol or just watered-down milk? Another added, I have expertise in alcohol, but I've never seen such a drink before. The Countess said, at a place where each family presents representative alcohol and specialties, you can't present something unverified. Eileen replied, yes, so what about having a tasting event? It's more relatable to taste it yourself before participating in the auction. Come on, please line up quickly. One noblewoman remarked, who would drink that? Anything other than wine is not alcohol. How can you? Suddenly, a statue shattered. The Duke said, oh dear, I got carried away and ended up like this. Don't worry, I will compensate you. Countess, Eileen thought, you shouldn't have done that. Could that thing really be broken by hand? The Duke asked, could I have a drink, please? Eileen replied, yes, of course, here you go. The Duke drank it and said, it's exquisite. A princess spoke up, can I try it too? Eileen thought, she seems like a foreigner. As far as I know, the only foreigner invited to this party is from just one family. She's the princess of the kingdom of Ruksha, the second daughter of the Ruksha royal family, who owns the magic tower. She's a true top-tier aristocrat who could get anything she wanted, beautiful, smart, talented. Since she's a foreigner, she doesn't have to worry about the Empress. To prevent the Duke from starting a continental war, I need to find a woman as wise and beautiful as the heroine but unrelated to the Empress. I've found her, the Duke's bride. The princess asked, why are you like this? Eileen replied, no, here it is. The princess said, it smells nice. After drinking, Eileen suddenly asked, Princess, is everything all right? The nobles exclaimed. The princess drank the drink the nanny gave her and collapsed. It seems the drink given by the nanny was poisoned. The Empress looked at a nobleman, and in the next moment, he shouted, it's an assassination. This is a matter of diplomacy. We must arrest the nanny immediately. The Empress stated, arrest her. The Duke declared, how dare you touch my lover? You must be out of your mind. The princess spoke up, I am fine. This drink is a divine elixir. A soft taste that tingles on the tongue, refreshing yet full of flavor. From the subtle aroma of grains to the sweetness, it could even be compared to wine, Eileen thought. Thank goodness, it was just because it tasted so good. The princess said, please ask the party host, can I participate in the auction too? The Countess glanced at the Empress, who was not in a good mood. The Countess replied, Princess, I am sorry, but that might be difficult. No foreigner has ever participated in the auction that has been passed down for generations. The nobles started asking, can I try a little too? Another said, I would like to taste it as well. All of them were very happy after tasting the drink. Eileen asked, would this qualify for submission? The Countess replied, it seems so. Eileen thought, I did not expect such a great reaction. If it wins and becomes recognized as this year's luxury item, I could sit on a pile of money by commercializing it. Suddenly, Jayana came and asked, what is all this fuss about? Even so, you won't be able to beat the rubyberry wine of the Enders family. Eileen thought, come to think of it, the Enders family has won the Ologe festival 4 times in a row. I am curious about the alcohol of this world since I have never tasted it. Jayana asked, why are you approaching? What are you doing? Eileen said, you will bleed if you bite your lips like that and get scars on your pretty face. I want to taste the rubyberry wine. Winning 4 times in a row is really impressive. Your face is turning red. Are you feeling hot? Just a moment. The Duke came and told her, that is enough. Eileen asked, when did you arrive? The Duke replied, since you cheated on me. Eileen asked Jayana, is your body okay now? She thought, she fainted before, and now her body seems very weak. The Duke said, I didn't know you had talent in business. Eileen replied, well, I ended up like this as a continuation. The Duke said, in the end, humans are humans. Eileen replied, it's upsetting to know there is something about you that I don't know. The Duke stated, saying humans are humans is going too far, especially between lovers. It's better to comfort me before I get hurt. Eileen thought, attacking me with a face like that, then she said, all right, let's go somewhere where we can be alone. After that, the Duke asked, is this a place for comfort? Eileen replied, yes, I have something prepared to comfort you, Your Grace. Today's comfort gift. It's nice to hide things under a full skirt. This bacon cheese potato pancake goes perfectly with makgeolli. The Duke asked, "You said you would comfort me. Was this what you meant by comfort?" Eileen replied, "You asked for food before, didn't you? I even specified it in the contract. I made it just for you. Have a bite before it cools down." She thought, "before the oiliness and saltiness settle in your mouth." Then she said, "It's salty, isn't it, for our successful relationship? Cheers." After that, Eileen thought, does it suit his taste? Even though using chopsticks is awkward, he seems to be eating well. The Duke replied, "It is delicious. It's crunchy on the outside, savory on the inside, and pleasantly salty. I really like the savory taste that comes with each bite of the beef inside. It's truly delightful. The subtle cheese flavor blends smoothly with the alcohol." Eileen said, "Exactly that, nice expression, our Duke. I'm happy when you compliment my cooking." The Duke asked, "Aren't you afraid of me?" Eileen replied, "I am, but you're handsome." The Duke asked, "What does that have to do with anything?" Eileen replied, "It has a lot to do with it." After some time, Eileen said, "Since we've finished the drinks, shall we head back now?" The Duke asked, "Why did you stop comforting me?" Suddenly, the Duke tried to kiss her. Eileen stopped him. The Duke asked, "What's wrong? Why is your face so red?" Eileen replied, "Is it because you have a headache?" The Duke asked, "Do I look sick?" Eileen replied, "No, but I mean, a headache or a common illness, like a modern-day incurable disease." She thought, only those closest to him would know that the Duke was suffering from headaches. It bothers me to think that he is in pain. The only one who can make the Duke better is the female lead. Anyway, he must meet the female lead at least once. Is there any other way to cure his illness? Mikhail came and said, "Your Highness, I think you need to go for a moment." Eileen said, "Don't worry about me, just go ahead." The Duke told her, "I'm feeling uneasy. I can't trust who else might come over." Eileen said, "Forget it, just go quickly without any nonsense." After that, she thought, Mikhail seems to have a dark expression, but it's probably just my imagination. I should go see the kids, our princes. Did they make good friends? Emma came and said, "Something big happened. The master of the Appleton family spoke to the princes." On the other hand, a noble child said, "Don't lie. You don't have a father." Louis replied, "No, we do have a father." The boy asked, "If you had a father, why would you live in such a cold palace?" "So you begged the Duke, didn't you?" Evan started beating him, then said, "Say it again. Why don't we have a father?" The master of the Appleton family came and asked, "What on earth is this? Do you teach the kids to fight?" Eileen replied, "The young master of the Appleton family was extremely rude to our princes." She thought, in the original, they were the nobles who wielded a sword at Evan. The family head said, "No matter what, hitting a kid like this is wrong. It's all your fault as a nanny." The Empress came and asked, "What could the young princes have done wrong? Isn't that right, Countess?" Eileen thought, so the Empress is behind this mess, using Count Appleton to stir things up. It was all a rigged game in the end. Eileen spoke, "Your Majesty, both Louis and Evan are sons of the esteemed Emperor. This is an insult to the royal family." The Empress stated, "Of course, they can't tell right from wrong yet. They're just children. Besides, Prince Evan threw a punch at the Count's son. There is a difference between a verbal slip and losing his temper. Although Duke Vladis serves as the prince's guardian, I believe the blame falls heavily on the nanny. This fault lies on my shoulders as well. As the mother of the royal family, I should have watched over the young princes myself." The party hostess asked, "What do you think?" The Countess replied, "I believe a thorough lashing with the whip for the nanny." Eileen said, "Hurry up and escort the princes." Both Louis and Evan shouted, "No, let go." The Empress spoke, "Don't take off the dress. You are the Duke's lover." Eileen thought, "It's going to hurt terribly, but if I leave too, the children will be blamed for everything. Duke protecting me was not part of the contract, but we shared makgeolli and potato pancakes together. Please show up quickly." The next moment, the knight's arm was cut off. Eileen looked at the blood and thought, "I never thought I would see blood in the Empress's palace." The Duke stated, "Come here, my fiancé." Eileen hugged him. The Empress asked, How dare you? What is the meaning of this in my palace? The Duke stated, I merely punished a bug that tried to harm my lover. What is the problem? The Empress said, the nanny was in the wrong, and I was about to give her a proper beating. The Duke replied, then it seems the target of your punishment was wrong. Suddenly, the Emperor came and asked, what is all this commotion? Eileen thought, that man is the father of the princes, and the Duke. The Empress spoke, the young princes were attending their first party, and there was a minor scuffle. It must be my fault for not being more careful. The Countess also said, the princes threw punches after the Count's son made a joke. Eileen thought, everyone saw and heard it, yet they shamelessly lied, but the Emperor strangely sides with the Empress. I know no one will believe me. This is frustrating. The Duke thought, should I just kill them all? Suddenly, a marquis came and spoke, our beautiful lady, you even speak so well, I feel good. The Countess asked, what are you doing? The Duke thought, who is that lunatic? Eileen also thought, wait, mockily. Like this video. Hit the like button and subscribe for more videos.